Well, on a relativistic basis, America, 9 Western European nations, Canada, Australia, New Zealand have decided to pursue relentlessly an environmental-only position, have really no energy strategy, have only an environmental strategy, and have mischaracterized CO2 as emissions and as an environmental issue where it is not. CO2 is a naturally occurring element. It's fundamental to the massive growth of green matter, corn, wheat, soybeans, lettuce, all things green for the benefit of feeding billions of people. CO2 has not been historically an issue. The issue seems to be about deindustrializing the West, because as we talk about CO2 that can't be solved, we're talking about not having steel plants. We're talking about not having electrolytic galvanizing, not having aluminum smelting, not having petrochemical plants. We're talking not about making cars, and talking about a world in which we'll do all that in China and India. And those of us in the West will be happier to be environmentally in our minds clean, but not have the energy to subsist a developed society, developed life.
How are politicians or government addressing this or avoiding this?
Government's avoiding it. The relentless CO2 abatement cause, the net zero, the decarbonization, all the histrionic language now being used on sustainability. Sustainability is really about supplying access to electricity to as many millions of human beings as possible in cost and in quantity to sustain a reasonably developed life. That should be the essence of balancing environmental concerns with life concerns of having medicines, refrigerated foods, workplaces, industrial facilities in which to produce things, and our ability to defend ourselves as well, having the weapons of war and the armaments manufacturable in industrial facilities to go ahead and have not only a safe life but a productive industrial society.
Is the move towards solar and wind power economically feasible in a value system?
No, it's not. We're going to spend, if you take a look at the collective utility resource plans over the next 9 years, the country's going to spend nearly $1 trillion on and become net zero in terms of added energy.
What is net zero?
Net zero, in the way I'm describing it, it means we're going to dismantle coal-fired capacity and dismantle nuclear capacity and build only slightly more wind and solar capacity that will net add no additional energy to the electrical system at a cost of about $1 trillion. So that $1 trillion comes about 60% from Chinese manufactured thin film PV panels, inverters, and battery storage that will all be coming from China. So there's nothing going on there to promote additional EV use, electrifying EVs. There's nothing going on there to promote gas to electricity heating conversion at all. Because we're really creating energy neutrality. We're not creating more energy, we're creating the same amount, but displacing that which we have and replacing it with part-time intermittent sources that last about 5.5 hours a day, if wind about 9 hours a day.
So economically, what would we have to do to maintain the level of electricity that we use today at what price?
To do this economically, we're going to have to keep open all of our nuclear power plants, refurbish them, extend their lives, extend their performance criteria, keep our baseload coal plants open, keep that energy resource alive. It's about 130 gigawatts, 150 gigawatts, keep it open, keep our gas-fired plants open. I mean, one can build a little bit more renewables on top of that as a buffer, but basically we need more combined cycle gas-fired plants. We need a few more coal plants. We need to be aggressively pursuing more nuclear build cost-effectively, and have enough baseload continuous duty energy to maintain reserve margins and keep us out of harm's way on brownouts, blackouts, and service curtailments such as we have here in California.
If we don't do that, what will that result in terms of cost to the consumer?
Well, if we pursue a relentless policy of investing hundreds of billions on intermittent part-time resources, cost to the consumer, such as they have already in California, where that's been experimented with, in Spain, in Italy, in England, in Germany, where that's been experimented with, and Australia the same, who have absorbed 30 to 35% of energy from these resources, costs will similarly probably double to triple, because you're layering an electricity system that doesn't work very often on top of one that you must have anyhow to produce all of the electricity you need. You're building a brand new one to feel good about it.
Is this a state government issue?
It is in large part. In this country, the electrical system is quite decentralized. Every state has a public service commission. that regulates rates and capacity state by state, so the states are deeply involved in this complicated country in this issue. Yes.
Is it even a municipal, citywide?
To some degree. I mean, we have some states, the one I'm from, allows every 20 years or so a city, a town to vote to become free of a utility and have its own system. And we have in Florida probably up to 80 different power generation districts. A lot of states the country has about 1,700 municipal and cooperative power authorities that are probably 60% of generation and about 60% of transmission of electricity is through municipal and co-op small companies.
Is there something within an essence within the Democrat Party that's pushing government officials to act not in the consumer's best interest?
They don't articulate it that way, but the net result of what they're doing is exactly that, and not pushing policies to create enough energy for the people to have access to low-cost energy. They're doing the opposite. They're creating a mantra of access only to intermittent part-time wind and solar for environmental, in their minds, environmental reasons. They have no energy strategy, unfortunately.